Yo, OBS, which is the software that I use to record these, crashed. And it crashed about an hour and 6 minutes into the video, but the sound kept going. So I'm going to upload part two, and that's going to be part two to this, to my YouTube. And this will be part three. And this will be, I guess, more specifically about Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio. Maybe I can rename part two and Stefanie Joosten because it's more that's provable, and I think something additionally is going on from that. But okay, to even to catch back up to where we were, there are things that I said that I kind of needed the video to like express in the way where I was like one of the things was when I was talking about like so first of all, this was the because you could only hear the audio in the previous video. So I just quickly want to look at this.
On this stupid tower in the middle of nowhere. And I don't blame you, and now we're stuck on this freaking tower in the middle of freaking nowhere. And it's all my fault. 軽蔑してるよね。仕方ないよ。Y es todo por mi culpa. Now we're stuck on this stupid tower in the middle.
So the point of that is that AI has gotten to the point, like I was talking about in 2017, 2018, and it probably, to be honest, sounded crazy then, and now it's just the reality. Okay. So as I was saying, that like you know, it's hard to trust what you see with your eyes these days when an AI mask can be used to mess with you. And so actually what we're about to look at, as I said, how about this? Pretty much everything that I said in part two, you actually can like not just trust. You can trust even in this that I'm saying I think something's on going on. I'm trying to perceive the truth of it. I think that it's something is actively trying to get me to not perceive what's going on so that they can do bad things in the darkness, right? And I think it's people that are hurting people who just want to party and enjoy this place and then like not whatever, like me. And so like I'm trying to get this sorted out in a way where I'm not mistreated. And I believe I previously have been. But like in the previous one where I'm talking about like the secret lab thing, and I'm just like, it would be like, in the same way where I was like, in the video that the video doesn't exist, but the sound is, and I'm like, look, I'm just kind of pointing as if there's like a, like something's really affecting me and bothering me, and I just can't quite engage what it is. And so you can see my body language and what I'm pointing at is very clearly I'm trying to point to Kate. But in this world of like, well, unless they say it or write it down, it doesn't exist. Or it's a video and it just proves out the point. Like what this is, this it doesn't prove anything. Well, he could just be pointing at something behind the situation that you can't see. Oh yeah, I'm pointing at the wall over there. That's what I'm actually pointing at. Something's really hurting me. Maybe it's the wall over there or something. Something has really wronged me. Maybe it's the wall over there or something, right? And so in this world where people can just lie, and this has happened. This is the reason I'm bringing this up is that's exactly what happened with Stefanie Joosten. Okay, well, this is do you get what I'm saying? So like, just to re-illustrate that point because it's valid. That point is valid. The people, the writing on the wall behind you, and like you want people to read the writing on the wall, and that's the real message. But you pretend that whatever, like, oh, it's just a picture where I'm waving and saying hi, and then on the wall it says like "fuck you." Well, okay, the actual message is "fuck you," not not hi. And so like, but it's laughable, but people really are being like, no, they're just saying hi, Matt. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh god, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. And like, is it? I think I'll get through it. I don't think whoever's doing this will continue as long as like I think something will stop whatever is doing this, as I'm pointing over here. Whatever has caused these problems, something's ending it. You know what I'm saying? So this is my that's my point on like doing this kind of stuff where it's like you're silently harassing someone or silently pointing out something that you're trying to get over a point, but then you can't like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not provable, right? There's no point that can be proven out from what's going on here. If you're bothered by what I'm saying, we'll fix the Stefanie Joosten thing. I think everything will be, well, not just that. So this part, I could prove out the Stefanie Joosten stuff. Let me reiterate. Pretty much everything in the previous video provable, right? It is provable to the point where it's like my cousin is saying there's a problem with it, and where internet commenters, the ones that aren't sycophants for the lady that I'm pointing out is being wrong, uh, are acknowledging, yeah, this is wrong, even saying I should go to the police. And again, didn't help much the first time. In fact, they threw me in jail. Which, by the way, when I'm talking about the sword and the stone thing, as we're talking about, like, as I'm kind of pointing here at the wall, the sword and the stone thing is like, it's oh, you get to be king of England if you pull the sword out of stone, right? King Arthur and stuff. That is what the seven churches things is in Revelation 2 and 3. If you do it, you get to be Jesus on the throne. That's what it clearly says. It's not for everybody because not everybody's on the throne in the book of Revelation. It's for someone. It is like a contest. That person has to be thrown in jail on slander. Okay, now, I'm not going to get too much into the religious aspects of what my belief system is, but, that is in my Bible, that's in your Bible, that's in every Bible. So, like I said, don't try to make me feel bad for believing in the Holy Spirit, all right? And I'm flesh, not spirit. I would never say that I am a spirit. So that is a lie. I never said that. Okay, that's just the reality. I never said anything like that. But which if the police officer said that I said it, and it's obviously not something I would say because that is just not the reality. You can take maybe the other things that are written on there are not completely accurate either. Okay, so this is the part where I'm saying it's like I can't prove this out. This part is a little weirder. This part is a little like this is the stuff that is more bothersome to me even than the Stefanie Joosten stuff. But I think the Stefanie Joosten stuff kind of sinks this that there is something weird going on and it's messing with me and it's messing with my head and that's the intent and purpose. And if you could hold that to some standard, that would be very helpful and maybe would prevent me from having kind of more odd ideas that might be disturbing or might whatever, and like might be unconventional or whatever, unless people see a value in me having an unconventional wisdom. Isn't that what fucking Rice is like thing, Rice University here? Okay, maybe this is some unconventional wisdom, but whatever's going on, my point with this is like, hey, this this is where my mom enters the picture from the first video, from part one of this. Okay, I asked her this. This is why, because this is the. We'll look at my story and pictures so you can see what I'm talking about by a story and pictures. We'll look at that. But this is my. This is just messages to my mom. And I go, does this person look familiar to you? I'm asking that because I believe it looks like my aunt or my cousin. I mean, like Josh. Am I is something messing with me? So in my story and pictures, I like my point is something using an AI filter to make her look like that, or is that because she didn't always look like this to me? So I'm like just confused, and it was like really disturbing to me. I mean, it was disturbing. It was like, oh, whoa, wait, what? And so, you know, like I'm asking my mom about it, right? Like, does she look familiar to you? No. All right. This still looks familiar to me. I have enough pictures of Josh and Aunt Kathy to where if we put them up, I'm like, I think this would be familiar. Like, they kind of look like it, and you can even see the like the sunglasses thing, right? And the other thing that I was saying is, and she's, is her sexuality being used in a way to be like disturbing? Because I think it partially is. You know, the her picture is a picture of her as a dog face, and it's like we'll get into this later, but my point that people are looking at my story and pictures is that only changed to that after I made comments about that in my story and pictures. That's why I believe that there is some group of people watching my private. That should be private. My photo gallery in my iPhone should be private. The fact that people have reacted to it, and not just her, and not just once, but constantly, it's stressful, hurtful, disturbing, illegal, wrong, abusive. Like, let me list off why it's not okay. But her, I mean, is because you can pretty much see her titty. So like, just me being just outward, like, but whatever. Maybe that gives me more leeway to point out like some weird shit going on around it. All right, if this is what this is, and maybe in other situations people might be angry at me for even engaging this, but like, okay, let me at least express what my weird belief is. I don't even have a belief. I'm just like, is something fucking going on here? Kind of looks like it. Um, but okay. So I'm like, what about now? And then my mom says, the middle one looks somewhat like Josh. I still don't know about the woman. Not me. Could be Monica Lewinsky. Well, the middle one is Josh, but uh, and you could hear my mom later on say that she doesn't think this looks like Josh. I still think it looks like Josh, but okay. Um, and then so I also sent, the middle one is Josh, right? Monica Lewinsky is the woman who gave the president Bill Clinton a blowjob in the Oval Office, and he lied about it and then got caught, right? Okay, well, this is also what I mean. That's the president. He's supposed to be held to a super high standard, and he's lying to you. I I'm sitting here like trying not to lie to people and trying to point out shit that's like this is bothersome to me. This is like weird. I'm a weird guy. I like being weird. I don't like weird being used to hurt me. And I feel like this situation with Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio has been used to hurt me, and that they are actively looking at what's in my private photo gallery. And I have enough evidence that they have responded to things in my private photo gallery in my phone that is a pattern that would should give even greater than just one time it happened. Very obviously, a pattern where it happens pretty obviously, and then a couple really obvious examples, like the thing where I say like, "Does she want to be my dog or something?" And then she like the dog face filter on her thing is now her main profile picture. That's a good hint. That's like what did they say? Plausibly deniable on her part, but also like there's some. It's I'm trying to use terminology so that the police would understand because trying to speak like a normal person maybe didn't work, but it's like reasonable suspicion. I should be suspicious that something's going on to try to fuck with me here. Okay? Try to mess with my mental health. There seems to be a war against my mental health. I'm trying, like, is there or not? I think there's a war against everybody's mental health because this society is crazy and, like, it doesn't make sense. And, like, the stuff, even with going on with P. Diddy and stuff, is like, this is stressful. It stresses me out because, like, the indication is like an implication is that probably there's more very famous people that are very much like that. I think of Beyonce and Jay-Z, that like they're getting protected while he's being thrown under the bus. That's what it seems like. But, you know, I think all of this is going to fall soon, but whatever. I'm allowed to believe that. And, it does look like some strange shit is going on, which also maybe when I'm doing music stuff and I'm pointing out, like, it looks like some weird apparatus is watching me and, like, messing with me. Yeah, wasn't that what P. Diddy was doing to people? And so when I'm saying that, like, or that's what's being claimed, allegedly, right? Allegedly he did that to people. Well, then, if I'm saying that, like, I think something's doing that to me because I'm making artwork in a way that, like, I'm making mixes and stuff in a way I think even, like, really good producers that I like would be like, damn, this dude's putting together some fucking heat. And, like, so that's what I'm saying. But I can't tell, on one end, are people sellouts or are people, what? What is it? This is why I need help and a support system that's not going to lie to me It's not going to be that is not going to be gaslighting me or, like my mom, be used against me in a way where people are lying to her and now she feels like she's embarrassed of me because she's being told that I'm doing things that are embarrassing that would she would take as embarrassing, and then when it comes out that actually I didn't, like I was right about the Stefanie Joosten thing, even Josh is saying it, then like she doesn't want to admit because then she's embarrassed about herself, or she doesn't want to be wrong, or have been wrong and then like doubled down on people hurting me, and so she just continues to double down on it, and that's the really painful, like that's my nightmare thing, and that's what's going on. So it'd be nice if like, hey, channel 11, I'm sending this to channel 11 verify, I'm sending this to channel 13 and channel 2, like can I get some public accountability? This part of this video is going to be weird and like, I'm treading a fine line, but I need some answers and I need this shit to end, and I need something where I'm not like some lightning rod for people like fucking with like, well, we could fuck with a bunch of people or we can fuck with him and make an example of him, and he's being publicly made an example of. So it's like it's like why they crucified people. It's like, yeah, don't do stuff or we'll do that to you. Okay, except I seem like I'm innocent and that something's doing that anyway, and it doesn't want to admit that it was wrong and probably shouldn't have the power to do it in the first place. And, maybe some kind of thing that something's going on in the background in the darkness that bringing it into the light, just in the same way, like, is Epstein working for the U.S. government, the Mossad? Is Diddy working for the U.S. government or the Mossad, allegedly? That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So if obviously that shit happens, and obviously, monarchs lie, and like the whole cancer thing that just happened recently, they hid it as much as they could, and then when they couldn't, all right, this is what it is. Same way with the government. So having to force, like the U.S. government, having to force the situation, it's not okay because I'm just a dude, right? If I'm more than just a dude, then you need to acknowledge it. If I'm just a dude, then this is not okay. Like I'm just stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I need some help. I need some answers. I need people to not treat me like I'm fucking crazy. I need like I think everybody should not have the same complete like I think people's subjective realities are important to have like beliefs that are you have your own thing. You see things your own way. That's important. You can create a bigger picture with a bunch of different viewpoints that shows maybe what the objective reality is, right? But I need some help and I need some support and I need some other people to point out and say that this is wrong. Obviously, a couple people have, and then a couple people who want to defend Stefanie Joosten or whatever is going on there, or whatever people are using that in order to mess with me. Okay, I think the same thing would probably go on with Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio, so I'm like leading with that, and like again, this what I'm getting into here is more like I don't know, but it's weird and it's bothersome to me. So I just like some answer, something. And also, it's a weird message to send to my mom, but I don't normally like we could go through all my messages. I don't normally send ones where I talk about a blowjob, so I mean that's just the truth, and you could ask her about that. But okay. So then I sent this to my mom at 4:55 today because she had responded this morning with that. And I sent her, this where it's like in the same way or in a similar way where I was saying something's up with Stefanie Joosten, and like it looks like there's multiple women using the same account and they're using it to do like mentalism and fuck with people's heads, or specifically it seems like mine, but to mess with people. And I part of my point is that I think evil stuff is going on behind the scenes, and like sexually abusive and wrong stuff is going on behind the scenes, and that they use these kind of tactics to like get people to look away or to not know what's going on. And that if one of the reasons like why you, Matt, is because I would bring shit like this out of the light. I'm not too much of a pussy to just say what I think is going on, even if I think like stuff like this could get me in trouble. But it could also be like, oh, maybe he's actually a good guy and he's we misrepresented him. We misunderstood. Like, he doesn't want a reality that sucks. He's like, he makes pretty good art. He's pretty good at video games. He's like, he probably would be decently wealthy if we didn't let people publicly rob him and like scam him, like, rug pull him and do evil shit to him consistently, even when it's trackable money like cryptocurrency is. It's not like Monero was stolen from me. It was Nano and, Nano. So, you know, and something on an ERC20 token. So anyway, if that makes sense to you, those are trackable things. You should be able to track who stole what and when and how and where it went and how it was done, whatever. And the fact that it doesn't look like they have, I mean, that's just really obvious to me. Like, someone's trying to prevent this from actually being like opened up in a way that actually solves my problem and engages that some evil shit's going on behind the scenes. That's what it feels like, seems like, looks like. If it smells like a duck, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck, right? If it looks like a duck, if it farts like a duck. I mean, come on. But okay, so I asked my mom, do you think these. See, my mom says, I don't know about the woman, because she looks like a woman, right? Okay, because she's a woman, right? All right, so I go, like, do you think these are the same woman or two different women? Now, looking at it, they look similar, but damn, they do not look the same. Okay, can I? Yeah, it'll work here. So, like, look at her nostrils and particularly this part of her nose. Also, look at how her cheeks. I don't know if I can get the lighting to do it to mine. Hold on. I don't know. I can't really contort my body in the right in the right way to show this like I'm trying to. I'll flip it the other way when I get into the story and pictures. But she's almost got these like the same type of things that I got kind of under my eyes. Like, doesn't look like bags under her eyes. It just looks like how her cheeks are puffy and um, it doesn't look like this one, right? I understand this one's wearing makeup, right? And this one is at the beach, but is also wearing makeup. But they don't look the same to me. Um, they look similar. They don't look the same to me. And I'll go over this a little more, but I'm just trying to make this clear. These do not look like the same girl, same woman, same girl, same woman. Oh, she looks like a woman. Okay, she's out there kind of showing half her titty. All right, well, she looks. She doesn't look like a. I mean, they don't look like the same woman. That's just what it is. And that's Alessandra Ambrosio, supposedly, and that's Anja Ambrosio, supposedly. But this is also Anja Ambrosio, supposedly. And so, my thing is like, why does this? What is going on here? This is not normal. That people look so different from picture to picture, right? Or from set of pictures, which do look like the same person is probably used in the set, though maybe that's not the case, or like, whatever. Maybe, I don't know. Is it an AI mask? Because that is a thing that's happening these days. And like, I think in order to do stuff in public and kind of like fuck with people and for different reasons, people might run accounts like this. And there's also anons and all sorts of groups of people and whatever that I don't know what their interests are or why they would do it particularly. There's conjecture, right? But anyway, so these do not look like the same girl to me or same woman, same girl. According to my mom, a woman. All right. According to me, woman, girl, whatever, same thing. If I'm a boy, if people are trying to make me feel like a boy, okay, well, that is also part of this. It's like, Matt, you're just a little boy. You're not a man. You don't get to, we're not going to respect what you say about this or that or the other. You know, it's like, well, first of all, that doesn't bother me particularly. Like, it bothers me that you don't listen to me, but it doesn't bother me like how you look at me. I don't care. It does bother me that you're disregarding truthful things that I'm saying and things that I'm perceiving that are clearly going on that like isn't Like that, that part is the reality, and like I don't care if you think I'm a boy, a little boy. Uh, also if I'm a little boy, then this should be like me making points with this should be like understandable. If I was a younger boy, I wouldn't want some weird stuff to be going on like this behind the scenes of some girl that I liked, and it seems like maybe that's what's going on behind Alessandra Ambrosio, and she's like a famous person with a lot of reach between two continents of the Americas, right? And so, and they love her in Europe too. So, and probably in, I've seen her in all sorts of places. She's a world known model that all sorts of people know and love, and seem to care about or something. I don't know. But okay, they don't look like the same one. They like these two here look like these two. They don't look like, hey, that's like it's both Anja Ambrosio. I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying, but that there's two or more that have different fathers, different mothers. Like body doubles are being used, and you know why? Because I think if you can mess with people's perceptions and pull like a gotcha thing on people, then it really is like you can actively like in the same way I'm talking about, like there's a psychosomatic response that seems to bring me physical pain about stuff. I think you can do stuff like that to people using techniques like this, and that you could, this is maybe a very cutting edge of science, right? Knowledge is that this, if you have an advanced enough snaky kind of knowledge, you can strike people and hit them in ways that like are difficult to prove. If I was saying this without more evidence that some weird shit was going on around me, I wouldn't even be like, I'd be like, okay, that's, you know, I don't know, that one's hard to believe. But being that I do have a strange situation going on around me, it does look like something's going on. But I think there's two different women here, right? And I even think there's like I'm talking about the AI mask thing. That's why I'm like, do you think the top one looks like me and the bottom one looks like Josh? I think something's like use some kind of mask or something. Unless I have a kid that I don't know about or kids that I don't know about, and that my cousin's been lying to me and trying to mess with me. Uh, I mean, are they using an AI mask on her, or are they, a filter? Because there's filters are common on Instagram these days. You can't look at any picture without assuming there's a filter on it. But it doesn't. This is not the type of thing that a filter like doesn't. A filter generally won't like change the shape of your nose. It won't change your bone structure. Those do not look exactly the same. That is just the truth. I understand that different cameras can yield different when you have different aperture sizes and different ISOs and stuff like that, you can get different filters and stuff on it. You can make someone look fatter or thinner or sharper on their chin and stuff like that. But that doesn't look like what this is. The closest thing I can say is it seems like some form of digital mask, but I'm not even. I can't verify that. My better guess is that those are two different girls because that's what I think it is. So two different girls, women, two different people. Okay, is that what the case is? I mean, I need some answers on this, especially the one on the top who's wearing a hoodie that is suspiciously like the one I always wear, and who it seems like they're trying to make me think there's a resemblance there, or there could be, and that's the crazy one. Did someone steal my genetic material and reproduce me without my permission? See, so this is why not addressing some kind of mental health attack where people are messing with me. I wasn't saying this however long ago. I thought some weird stuff was up, but this is more new, and this is also why I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm in the mental asylum, insane asylum, but also something weird's going on. To the point where my whole point in logic earlier that you hear on the video, part one, where my mom, this is what she was saying. They look different because they look different. They are not the same girl based on perception. Mine or my mom's, or, use your own fucking perception, please. And I'm sorry if I'm swearing and you don't like swearing. I apologize. I'm not trying to be. This is a stressful situation beyond what I'd ever want to be through going through, and I'm still going through it 8 years later or something, 7 years later. And I think if you can engage the Stefanie Joosten thing, this stuff kind of falls by the wayside. Does that make sense? But the fact that like the Stefanie Joosten thing is clearly and actively going on, nobody's engaged it, and it's being allowed to specifically target and harass me. No wonder I'm paranoid. Does that make sense? Like, is this paranoid? I don't know. It seems like actually they don't look like the same girl, but okay. No wonder I'd be paranoid if that's what the fuck is going on. So please be reasonable here. In an unreasonable situation, at least give me the benefit of the doubt and like help me. Okay. Um. Okay. So I tried to make it easier because it's harder when the pictures are like split like they were. So I made this one for my mom to where it was side by side instead of kind of askewed in different pictures. And like when you're looking at it like this, they clearly do not look like the same woman. I mean, just the most telling thing is the bridge of her nose. Like the left one's nose looks like a little wider, like up here and here, and like the right one's nose looks like it has a kind of a shaped tip, and like the bridge is more like this. It's like compact, and their eyebrows look slightly different, and the one on the left, I think that picture's not that old, right? I mean, in comparison, it's supposed to be like when they're headed out to spring break, and yet it looks like the one on the left has longer hair, and their cheeks, even though the one on the left is a little, I mean, the one where under Honix or with Phoenix or whatever, it does look kind of like she has longer hair. Their skin tone does not look the same to me. Um, so anyway, I is does this one? I don't know if you can see my mouse. I think you can. But does the one on the left have like a mole on her here that you can't see on the other one? You know what I mean? Something weird's going on. That's what I'm saying. Whether they are or not, okay. It seems like even my mom, who she doesn't believe this shit at all. So the fact that she's saying like it doesn't look the same, that should be telling. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is like that's the weird part. Now there's still more weird part, and let me pull it up in my story and pictures. So I'm going to say this because it is a private space that, like, to me, it's a private space. It should be a private space. I should be able to use it to express myself without people looking in on my reality and trying to fuck with me and trying to respond subtly or overtly to what is being put into my iPhone photo gallery. It is not okay that people would be looking at it without my permission. It is not okay that people would be, whatever. I should be able to use it, and this is so I'm going to say this. I say some shocking shit in there. All right? I do it very specifically because I think that people are watching, and I'm trying to elicit a response, and it has generated that. Okay? So, like, for example, the thing with Anja Ambrosio and the dog thing, and then she, not too long after that, she was never doing dog stuff before that, and all of a sudden has like a dog filter on her face, and like, that's where it looks like she's trying to make points about dog stuff, and um, like here, just for example, This is her profile picture on Instagram. It only changed to this after I like put in my story and pictures, saying like, does she want to be my dog or something like that. So, I mean, not too much later afterwards, but I've definitely like hammered the point home to where like this seems like it's going on. So, and I don't know which one this is. Maybe there's more than two. Maybe there's one. How many are there? There's just something weird going on here. But okay. Oh, and like stuff like this, by the way that I deal with this kind of stuff, or I try to, is like people are trying to shush me down, and I'm like, and like make me feel like whatever. And it's like she's a dog, and I'm being a cat, and like this kind of thing. Like, and hold on, there's another one that. Oh yeah, so it goes like this, and then you go, and here's an example. Like she's clearly looking, right? Does that should be a thing too? Like, oh, I tag her in a thing and she looks, and there's been enough where Anja looks as well, and I also tagged her mom. But this has been going on for a while in the iPhone private photo gallery. As far as like, it looks like they are watching me now. Any of the what I'm saying is like more crazy kind of like, hey, are there multiple Alessandras or Andras? That's only come more recently after the Stefanie Joosten thing that has not been addressed for 5 months now, where they are very clearly trying to mess with me, or she is very clearly trying to mess with me. I think for some group of men or women, right? I mean, some group of people, the Nicolations, I don't know, some group of people. Okay, I I don't think she would have. Maybe she gets clout or money or something for it. So maybe it's just more like that, and it's like I got a bounty on my head or something. I mean, an online internet bounty where people want to shut me up. But that because that actually makes sense. But uh, okay, and I try to have fun with it, like and be artistic. It's like this is what you're gonna receive. Heck, it's just a cat, and then nasty, the prodigy. All right, and oh yeah, and here, in World is Fighting, it's a cat punching a dog. Okay, and then why does that fit in with what I'm saying? Because as you can see, it's right under the cat picture and whatnot, and it's like I'm the cat punching the dog in the face because I think she dropped her guard and like thought got a little cocky and maybe thought I wouldn't try to pull this out into public in this kind of way, and that she could just continue, and doing this kind of in the darkness. And like the power disparity between Stefanie Joosten and I is large. The power disparity between Alessandra Ambrosio and her daughter and I is huge. I mean, is it? It wouldn't be if I'm the guy who's conquering at the seven churches of Asia. It is if I'm just Matthew Ray Wilkins, who's just a nobody here in Houston, Texas, that nobody really seems to give a fuck about, and that people are fine with having my life abused away from me by a bunch of like evil women and men that are willing to like be complete hypocrites and abusive buttheads to just tear me down because I would speak out and whatever. And I also want to point this out. This is something like this one. I've been doing this since March 10th. Like I'm manifesting this. This is my affirmations, right? And the emojis are there for maybe comic effect, but also because I think they're watching, right? Or something is watching. I just not. I think they're watching. Something is watching, like that is directly responding at times to what's going on in my story and pictures here in my iPhone photo gallery. It's basically directly responding, and yet because it's supposed to be a private photo guy. It's not like it's responding to my Instagram, so there's not a. I don't know if it was just responding to my Instagram. This would be a lot easier, maybe to get over and be like, yeah, look, clearly, when it's my private photo gallery on my phone, that I don't have like photos in it that aren't like most of them aren't taken by me. They're screenshots of like what other people are doing, and then I arrange it kind of like the collage, uh, kind of like this kind of collage thing that I'm talking about, where I'm like, basically creating a story that I think is already there, or maybe not creating it, like arranging the puzzle pieces to make sense of something that is actively going on, where all these individuals have like one small piece, but I'm the person that like, and I think maybe this is the left eye, right eye thing, but I seem to have the left eye. Most people seem to have the right eye, where it's like their dominant eye is their right eye, mine's the left eye. I think so. Left eye, right brain, creative, sees the whole picture. Right eye, left brain, logical, step by step, or like maybe not logical, but step by step, doesn't see the whole picture, but has like the specialty of creating like one of these puzzle pieces, right? And then I'm the guy who like arranges it to make sense of what everybody's saying. That's how I look at this. You don't have to believe it. You can believe it. I think you can see that it's going on, but you don't have to believe the left eye, right eye stuff. You can just see that it looks like I'm making sense, like even just in the colors that you can see without even zooming in. It's like, and the fact that the imagery on most of them then goes together and the sound goes together too. That's not going to be coincidental. I think it's you're being illogical and lying if you're saying that that is a coincidence and that I've done it over multiple mixes. Again, you'd have to be basically lying to like do that, which people lie on me a lot. So that's why I'm like, well, okay, you'd have to be lying, but yeah, people do that all the time. And even in the names of the tracks and stuff, like as you're looking at this, like, and the artist like Katana is made by Matt Watkins, or just anything. I mean, just go through it and look at it. It tells a story in the track titles. It tells a story in the album arts. It tells a story in the music itself. I'm storytelling here. So, okay. And also, one of the things here with Alessandra Ambrosio is she is beautiful, or like, whatever this character is beautiful. I find her incredibly attractive. All right. But also, I find like some weird thing is going on with her. And like, to me, I look like, well, why would she, like, who am I that she would be interested in me? Right? That's what everybody maybe is thinking or looking at her. Unless I am the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia and I've pulled the sword out of the stone. Okay. But, but if I'm just Matthew Ray Wilkins and people want to pretend that's not happening, why would she be interested in me at all? I can come up with some reasons, but like, even the art stuff is still like, well, I don't know. Beautiful women seem to like artists a lot, so okay, maybe I can get that part. But I mean, I live at here with my parents, and like I live here at home with my parents, and though I have had like lots of money stolen from me. So anyway, I'm gonna get back into this. So I guess first thing I'm gonna say here, and before we look at my story and pictures, is the thing that I was pointing. I'll pull this up. This is my story and pictures. This is the most recent stuff that I've put in it. The thing, you can see it's long. It goes back to May of 2001. I mean, sorry, that's way longer. 2021. All right. But I do think this has been going on for a long time. So maybe that actually is. It's probably a truthful statement too. But what I can prove out is the Stefanie Joosten stuff, and something is going on, and then if I can get other people to come in and like help shine a light on it and hold people publicly accountable, and like like I'm saying, I want some form of sovereignty where I can like exist without some weird shit going on around me that is like hurting me emotionally, mentally, spiritually, mentally. And my mental health maybe is like this thing that I'm going to stress here, since that has been weaponized against me. Even if I'm this logical, like I'm allowed to have weird ass beliefs, whether those are the same Anjas or whatever. Whether these are the same Anjas, right? Or whether they're different. I'm allowed to believe something weird. I live in America. I don't live in communist fucking China. That being said, uh, or communist anywhere. But that being said, at a certain point, it gets untenable for me when there is like the Stefanie Joosten thing going on, plus this is starting to go on, and when I'm like, all right, let me see if my mom can help me perceive this. She should be the one to most be able to do this because she should be the one that cares the most about engaging this and making sure that her son is all right. But again, people have lied to her and made her embarrassed about me. And so she, because she doesn't want to be embarrassed about what she perceives has happened to me, even though she didn't have the whole picture, and like, again, me lashing out at people, sure, even her, like, if the thing was going on and people weren't listening to me and they were hurting me and they were implying that my mom or Joel or any of these people that I lashed out at were doing something, do you not see why I would lash out at people? Especially when it does seem like there's like some kind of weird thing going on around me, because there is, but like I can't exactly. I need help holding this publicly accountable. Okay. Um, but I want to show this to show kind of the format of what I'm talking about with this, and I'm already at the point where this has been going on with Alessandra Ambrosio for since 2021, just very on this story and pictures. I mean, it's been going on with a number of people, but she was even one of the people in 2018 where I was like, this seems to be going on. So, or this is going on, but where I could. There's a lot of stuff pointing that something weird was going on with Stefanie Joosten. Now it's like it is something is going on with Stefanie Joosten, right? Even like other people are saying it. So if we can engage that, that would be helpful to like end whatever maybe mental health issues that you might think I have or that I might have. It's hard to tell when there is something going on, right? I mean, that should actually be like, me repeating this. I have to repeat it just in the same way I repeat every day that my leg hurts. And yesterday or 2 days ago, my mom was like, "Oh, your leg hurts? I didn't know that." It's like I say this every day, multiple times a day. There is absolutely no way you've never heard me say this. You've heard me say this thousands of times. So if you don't listen to me that much, maybe that should be another good example for why, like, I mean, even if you just watch my random people on my YouTube comments know that I have a leg issue. I bring up the YouTube comments where they're like, "Well, why don't you try this or that or the other?" And I have a thing where my leg hurts too, and blah blah blah. So if my mom is like less informed about me, even though I tell her every day, than like random people on YouTube watching my videos, that should give you a hint as to what is going on in this household. She cares more about being a lawyer lady about town than people hurting her son. Now she's getting to the point of retirement, like literally retiring this year, and like she's about to move out of her office. I mean, she's still gonna do stuff here, but like maybe she can actually help me engage what's going on. That there is some kind of weird thing going on that's hurting me, and part of it is I should have the right or ability to decide how to deal with this myself. It shouldn't be like, oh, we'll see. Let's ask what the doctors think, and the doctor's like, oh, he's crazy. Well, it's like that doesn't address my issue at all. But I don't give a fuck what the doctors think. I want this like I want something at like Meta or the Netherlands police or something. If someone's saying that I should contact the police, I even said she could do it. I'm again, why would I contact the police when they've only been used against me to like fuck with me? I have no confidence in their abilities. I don't think anybody in the city does currently because they literally passed over 260,000 cases. And the police chief here is saying IA cannot investigate him, or he basically walked around the question. If you're mad that I'm saying what was just on the news, like, then this would be exactly why people would target me, because I don't shut the fuck up. But what I'm saying is valid, so maybe it should actually be engaged reasonably. In the least, the Stefanie Joosten thing, but this shit is weird. Like that whatever that is weird and bothersome. The Stefanie Joosten thing is it needs to end. This thing, I want some answers. Maybe public accountability, but okay. Um, so you can see here, I'm trying to do, and I'm, by the way, at this point, it's been going on for years. I'm very harsh in my private thing, and I've seen like, I've seen when I'm harsh towards people in my private thing, you know, like Olivia Munn. I recorded a video and said she would if she doesn't stop acting like this or whatever, she'd get cancer. Or I was talking about actually like this whole situation is cancerous and like everybody involved. But then she came out within 12 hours. This should also be a hint. I recorded that to my hard drive. It never went on YouTube. So the fact that she came out 12 hours later and said she had cancer, and now all these people are starting to say they have cancer, that should be a huge indicator that something is going on around me. It's not, I don't think those things are just coincidence randomly. I think they are coinciding, sure, but I don't think it's random. So, and generally I don't like to say bad things about people. This has been going on for years and it's hurting me. At a certain point, like actually the moment this became like, hey, this is something different that needs to like that I'm willing to go to an extreme level of like, hey, all these people need to end or they're going to get cancer or whatever. I only took it to that point after a couple of weeks ago, my dad started getting really sick, and I felt like it was some kind of, now this is where the mental health stuff. I thought it was like, they can say whatever. They could pretend that this is like, oh, he has mental health issues. I felt it was some sort of spiritual attack. And my dad all of a sudden comes down with like, because I had like 1 week, I was so freezing cold, even when I was wearing all this kind of like multiple hoodies, multiple shirts, multiple socks, whatever. Um, but I wasn't sick. I was just freezing. And I remember him talking about and I've seen his malaria symptoms from when he was in Vietnam. This is my dad, Rayfield Wilkins Jr. And I was just like, this is like when my dad gets malaria. And I don't have malaria because I've had my blood tested. So what's going on? So I talked to him like after it kind of like goes away a bit. I tell him like, hey, I just experienced something where I basically had like your malaria symptoms, uh, and like I'm having issues with my leg, and which I think is something to do with Genesis 32. But I'm having issues with my leg. In secular world, it's hurting. Like you don't have to believe that I believe in Genesis 32 or whatever to like in Jacob wrestling with something to like believe that okay, Matt can have leg issues that are maybe associated with some kind of nerve damage or something. Um, but when I tell him about that night he started having, and like from that point on for like days on end, and he's just gotten over it. He's not even completely over it. He's still like he hasn't returned to normal, like in the sense that he's kind of like taking it a lot easier and stuff like that. But he that like I told him that like one night, and the next day he's like in bed having the same issues, and even more so, his sciatica, which is a nerve issue in his left leg, so it's like we're mirrored or something, is like driving him crazy. At the same time, my right leg is starting to drive me crazy. And I'm just like, I think this is this, like I told him even before he got it. I don't know if your malaria is just malaria. It feels like I think I just had it based on what you describe, and then I think it felt like a spiritual attack. And let me go to something in my story and pictures here. I can actually pull up around the time that this was going on. It happened sometime around here. So February 23rd, either like the preceding week or something. Something's going on. Um, by the way, they're very heavily featured at this point in the thing because I feel like I found maybe the thing that has been bothering me. But hold on. If you go all the way back up to the top of the story of pictures, as you can see here, it's stuff like this one is from Anwar Hadid. If we hold less judgment towards others in return, we will not judge ourselves. You should probably always be judging yourself. You better be judged by yourself than others, right? But okay. So I just, on the side of that, I put these two things, and I started making this story in pictures, and it is a fun, creative way for me to express myself, or that's what I thought at the time. And then people started, it seems like, reacting. That is when this really turned into like, what is going on here? Like, the mental health stuff is like, all right, let me be creative and artistic and stuff, but like, there is something going on with Stefanie Joosten, but I think it's just pointing out that there's a bigger thing going on. And I'm just doing some fun stuff here. Um, and I'll say this: if anybody like kind of got me believing like, hey, I'm being messed with more than anybody else, it's like Lil Mommy Lonnie here. But so I even if they're trying to mess with me, I really actually am thankful because she was like so overt with it that like and I don't know if it's any of these in particular, but like she was so overt with it that I was like, oh, maybe like look, I tried to be like, I know, maybe they were right, I am crazy, I just need to like do whatever, but this was when it was like, nah, they messing with me. Like something's messing with me. That is the intent seems to be to mess with me. And it it turns eventually into like it looks like this now and it changes how it looks. It's a visual story. Again, you can tell a story with pictures, so when people are pretending that there's not pictures. And so you can see here that Alessandra Ambrosio was not like the main baddie seemingly because it seems like these are bad people. But I'm sorry if that's bothersome to you. Can you speak out that about the Stefanie Joosten thing, and I'll change whether I believe you're a bad person or not. I don't know if people would because then it would show that people are fucking with me, and like I think at that point even my mom would have to acknowledge and support me. So I don't think people want that actually. I think people want me to be disconnected and unable to affect change in any meaningful way so that they can continue doing evil stuff. So what it seems like to me, can you give me a better reason without, trying to claim I'm crazy and bullshit me? No? Okay. Shh. Okay. Please. I mean, it's just like it is the icing on the like mental health like beat you down with mental health cake to like something is going on and you're being told you're crazy. It's just it hurts. It's terrible. So hold on. Like here's a good example. It looks like she's pointing at the camera, right? Because she is, and then it looks like she's flicking, whoever's looking off. Oh no, it's just by chance. Well, you chose that picture by chance. Oh, it's a dog. Hmm. I think they're. I think the point was to call me a dog. I don't just randomly call people stuff and be mean to them. I don't randomly do that. Just FYI. I like my whole point has been I've been reasonable in this land of like all these people to me are crazy. And like, so the idea that I've been this reasonable for, that's 2021. We're coming up on May of 2024. So that's 3 years. And, part of even the thing that I posted up recently on my, hmm, on my Twitter here is like, what I was doing here. Again, most of this stuff I posted in, before they threw me in the mental hospital and before they tried to use mental health as like a weapon. And I think I'm being too reasonable for that to happen now, but they could still try it. But I think at that point is when the whole thing would fall apart. I already think it has fallen apart, but like, um, something gives me the feeling they're gonna try, like someone is gonna try one more time to shut me up, and then it's not gonna work. Or has already tried one last time and it didn't work, and it's like failing, like it's exploding in their face, or it's like on a timer and it's about to. But that's what it feels like. So you can see here this 1260-day period thing that I'm talking about and the 2520-day period. I also make, there are videos in my hard drive where I explain more, but and then so I recently I pointed here. Uh, so here's actually 2520. No, that's why. So I got the this here. It's the Yoker mix from 2017. Why? Because I posted that 2,520 days ago. This is the theme. That's double 1260. It's 7 years basically. It's a biblical number though, because this is the number from the Bible, from the book of Daniel, but also from the book of Revelation. Those are talking about the same events. The book of Daniel describes basically what's going on in Revelation as a court case. I believe it's, partially this seems to be there's a court case around me, and this is like me defending myself, and that's how I take it as. So this is my tentative testimony. If you want to take it as that, you can, because that's what I'm putting it out as. Uh, in dealing with Stefanie Joosten, anything else, I think Stefanie Joosten is the thing that sinks it all, because that one is too on the nose to pretend that there's not more. Like, once you acknowledge that's happening, the other ones have to also be acknowledged, and like it's like a domino effect. And so I think the idea has been to prevent me from like making sure that people actually engage what's going on with Stefanie Joosten. And I also think that's why the account, I haven't, I don't look at it constantly, but I haven't looked at it actually since the last thing that she posted, which I only looked at because it was I went in the video while I was doing the video, and it had just been posted. So and I was trying to make a point about her, but I don't really look at her account. Um, and I don't think she's posted anything recently. And at this point, I think she's being used sparingly because they've stepped over a line, and maybe they realize it now. I'm just like I don't know. But so this is 5/13/17, right? May 3rd, 2017. All right, that's 2,520 days, right? And from yesterday. And so part of my point is I've been trying to make points over extended periods of time to show that I'm, at least part of me is awake and aware and perceptive enough to be doing that using art. I can't I can't promise that art's going to make sense to everybody all the time, though it should make more sense eventually, right? Over time, it should eventually make sense of what's going on. And like, part of my point with this also is like, if you're saying like, well, why would these people be bothered by you? Well, I don't know why they would have been bothered by me up to like this point, the Yoker mix. But after that, this might be why they would, take, you know, uh, take action against me. I'll also say, I'll say this: I only did these when I felt it was reasonable enough because I had no other weapon to defend myself other than art. So, and I'm trying to show here like they're wearing camo and this they have whips, so they're trying to like whip me, and she looks like a little demon lady, and they got camo, and Gigi Hadid looks like we're here in Houston. It's you know this isn't the whole picture. There's more to the cover art. It just makes it square, but on this thing. But the idea is like she's like an alien on the moon, and I'm like the moon man here in Houston, trying to like, cause Houston, we got a problem, right? And this is the problem that someone here in Houston's being fucked with by all these people, and like I can't get people to engage what I'm saying, and they're pretending it's not happening, and it's empowering a bunch of people in like L.A. and Japan and wherever else to like, oh yeah, they don't give a fuck about Matt in Houston. I don't think Houston realizes what a treasure Matt is, and that like they would be happy because we've told them that he's like causing problems, and we've made problems for him, and he's having a difficult time and dealing with it. I'll also say this, like, okay, well, I made this in 2018. When I say that this is a cancerous situation, and uh, you know Olivia Munn's gotten cancer, I would suggest that all these other women, you should be terrified, because if you do not speak out, the only way that I can protect myself is say something that I believe I have. I think everybody has power to manifest what you believe to some degree. That's what the Bible says that too. Mark 9:23. What it's nothing is impossible to him who believes, and that in Jesus' own town, he because people didn't believe in him, he wasn't able to work miracles there. It's just what it says in the Bible, or he was less capable. It very explicitly says that. So anyway, am I making comparisons between me and Jesus to delusions of grandeur? The whole point is you're supposed to be a disciple of the guy, and you're supposed to look like him, in the sense of like you're literally like living. He even says you'll do greater things than him, greater works. I mean, actually, so like, and I think the greater works is if you're the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia. But again, none of that should matter once I've said the Stefanie Joosten thing. But yeah, so why would they do it? Maybe this. Maybe I tried to do like a YoTV thing, and the whole this is why, you know, this is why. And it's like, and so I didn't make some for several years, and then I started making the Hallelujah mix. I made this one, so like I wanted this to be a Christian theme mix that had like music in it that like Hallelujah, Don't Care Crown, all the way up Supersonic, Jah Religion, right? Because Jah is the name Yah actually, because the J doesn't exist in Hebrew. It's a Yod. So Jah Religion is the proper name of the God of the Bible. Uh, God is a title. In Hebrew, it's El, or Elohim, or as Muslims and Arabs say, or Arab Christians, Allah. It's a derivative of the title God. It literally means deity, or in Hebrew, something mighty or strong. So, and Elohim seems to be a pluralized version of that. Actually, Allah seems to be a feminized version of that. So, it does seem some weird stuff's going on with religious stuff, but in any instance, and I don't ever hear anybody talking about this, and this is like, well, why are all these Christians like? I didn't hear Joel Osteen saying, I mean, his name Joel, Yoel, Yahweh is El, or Allah, right? So, or actually, is El, because Allah is the feminized version. So, Yoel, Joel. So Joel Macaluso, this is where your name comes from. Elijah is that switched around. Jah, El, or Eli. I'm sorry, that's Joel. Elijah, El, God. You put a yod at the end. My God, Jah. My God is Jah, or my God is Yah. You say hallelujah, because this is two words in Hebrew that mean praise or rave over Yah, Jah. And if it's prefixed, it's yo. And, I'll even say the word of God as I've made these mixes. The word of God is this here. In the beginning was the word and stuff. And you probably, so speaking of Joel Osteen, hey, I just made sense of John 1 because it doesn't make sense without this context. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him, all things came to be. Not one thing had its being but through him. And all that came to be had life in him, and all that life was light of men, and a light that shines in the dark, a light that darkness could not overpower. Maybe this is like really me being an artist and saying there's something dark going on around me, and I'm trying to shine a light on it, and I've been wronged around the situation, and people will not acknowledge it, and even the police seems to have been involved and lied about it, and or in the same way that they're getting in trouble for skipping over 260,000 cases, including multiple rape, sexual assaults, violent murders, stuff like that. That that's a problem. But they had enough to send a bunch of people to my apartment multiple times, and like they let murderers out on bond, and they took special uh action to like remove my bond by saying I was mentally incompetent, and then hold me in a gray area. They held me for a much longer period than they should have been able to, using like a gray area of the law where, well, we can't let him go on bond if he's mentally incompetent, and then we can put him in this place where he doesn't get evaluated for 4 months, and then all of a sudden one day it's like, well, we can do the evaluation here because they were supposed to take me to go get evaluated, and then they just decided, oh, actually we can do it here. Okay, well, you just dicked me around for 4 months in jail. I mean, I guess I met some cool people, and like it was kind of like summer camp, to be honest. Everybody was really nice, and I didn't get into fights with people, and we did a lot of Bible study. And actually, our pod, nobody fought. Everybody's cool. We got along. We it was like summer camp. I mean, no joke. Uh, to my boys from that period, I mean, was it not like it felt like summer camp to me? I might just be like, I might be a noob that isn't going back to jail, and like a lot of the guys were more hardened, but that would mean like they would probably notice. I don't think this is a normal situation in these pods because I can see across in the other pod. Literally, they separate it, and the guard sits between two, and there's glass that can't break between it, and you can watch the people on the other side. Those dudes are fighting each other, shanking each other, like beating each other up and stuff, and like stealing each other's stuff. And I mean, there's like people would argue, but no one was fighting. And actually there was like one fight, and it was some new guy that got transferred in, and he tried to like within a few moments he attacked someone, and everybody beat him up and kicked him out. And then we went back to being like the best, like summer camp. I mean, I'm not even kidding. So if that's how I took it, I mean, come on. It wasn't comfortable, mostly because my leg hurts, but and so that was throwing me in jail while my leg hurts, and seemingly this is the thing causing it. You should feel terrible. That would be the reason why the biblical stuff, but that would be the reason why this should be made up to me. But okay. Uh, so let's see. I don't want this to just drone on. I'm just trying to illustrate as why people might. I mean, why people might mess with me, right? Or something. But look at all the like I using EDM and dance music and dubstep and drum and bass and music you don't generally consider to be Christian. I like made a Christian mix that is better Christian music than any of the gospel stuff that there's some gospel in here. I don't want to rip on gospel, but like when I go to any church, like I used to go to West End Church, but then the pastor there, Patrick Kelly, called me arrogant for saying that people like, hey, we should be saying the name Yahweh, and then he mocked my Bible for how large it is, the Jerusalem Bible. The only Bible that I've really found, other than the World English Bible or the Web Bible, that actually has the name Yahweh where it's supposed to be, which normally in Bibles it's taken out 7,000 times, about 6,900 and something times. So anyway, that might be why people would mess with me. And I would say, like, I'm just gonna add into this, like, Simi Hayes here, like, what's going on? Because it seems like they want to be DJs and stuff, but like, okay, well, it looks like I'm more connected to the DJ stuff than these people are, and yet they're just lying on stuff, and they are participating in this thing. So I can, for them, I can prove it out a little more than other people, but that's what it looks like to me. Okay, I don't really, I could go on, actually. Like, I could continue to add things and stuff like that. Let me look through here real fast if there's anything. I do want to say this. So here's something that Okay. So some of this is like it is strange to me that Gal Gadot and like all of a sudden it looks like both these women. This is why it's plausibly deniable. Oh yeah, Gal Gadot did just whatever. I mean, but the fact that it's like between these in the sense that like you just go up and it's Gal Gadot doing the same thing and it's black and white and that's how you would communicate. Yeah, it's black and white. They're like they're both looking towards this direction and trying to elicit something. I why is Gal Gadot constantly drinking milk in her like story and pictures and stuff? I mean, in her on her Instagram, like there's way more pictures of her drinking milk than is like normal. That is the type of conjecture that like okay, crazy Matt. But at the same time, it's like, well, why? I mean, can I get an answer? I know maybe she likes milk, but maybe it's just to mess with the dude who DJs as Milkins, Matt Wilkins, Watt Milkins. Okay, it's just just Jennifer Shim, or no, wait, Jessica Shim. I don't know Jennifer, I know Jessica. Jessica Shim used to call me Milkins. It like stuck uh, going through college and stuff, and then I used it as my DJ name. Um, and like and I'm still doing it. You can see on the Hallelujah mix or any of their more recent ones as well. In fact, here, hold on, just to like reiterate this point. So Milkins, 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 Milkins. I'm trying to get over the milk point, or Milkins point, but it seems like that's another way that people can be like mocking or satirical. Is that a threat on my? Is that what I'm saying is the problem to my mental health? No, I'm saying this Stefanie Joosten, and this is also like, hey, by the way, like my cousin Adam here, we got a shirt, got milk. It's like, well, I'm trying to make the point that I can do this type of stuff too, and you get it. All this subversive kind of like whatever is it's just bothersome and hurtful. Okay. I'm gonna end this video with this. If you got this far, thanks for listening. I'm appreciative that people are listening. I just want some action, some public action, not against me, but like for me, because I feel like I've already gotten all the against me stuff, and like, okay, jail was people. By the way, all the guys were saying that being in the jail is worse than going to like a state jail or prison because it's a temporary housing, so they don't you aren't the accommodations aren't as comfortable. But anyway, you got to recognize also, well, the guy who is at the end of the Bible is conquering at the seven churches of Asia, which is also the guy from Revelation 19 who shows up, who's known as the Word of God, who has the name King of Kings, Lord of Lords written on him. Maybe because sovereigns are doing some evil stuff, like Nicolaitans trying to victory over the people. That's what Nicolaitans mean, trying to kind of put their boots on the necks of people in places that they should not be. And maybe that happened to me. I can't prove any of that out, but the whole thing that I was doing earlier, pointing at the wall, might be an example when I'm saying people are getting cancer, and then all of a sudden, all sorts of people start getting cancer. It's probably indicating that, yeah, like around my situation, people are being evil. But I'm gonna add one more thing as far as that's concerned. Um, okay. Part of this I was trying to point out, it's like she's being used to rot me or something, or to be either rot or crown. It seems like it's saying rot. Why? This is why. But um, so like go here. This is what it actually says, and you can get stuff like you know, maybe it says some stuff on the left side that whatever, that you might be able to get stuff from, but that's again more conjecture. This is what I'm trying to get to. So like you're talking about the cancer thing. Well, this is what I've been trying to get over. A good wife, her husband's crown. A shameless wife, a cancer in his bones. Um, one of the suggestions that I made is it's weird that both the king and the princess of Wales would get cancer at like the same time. Is that Yahweh or God, if you believe in God, suggesting maybe they did something that they shouldn't be together? You know what I'm saying? Sexually? Or, I mean, or something else that, you know, in the same way they try to hide even just, oh, she got cancer, like there's a whole thing around, like basically pretending nothing was wrong until they were forced to, you know, until the situation was brought into the light, or they, you know, I guess maybe it would have been forced. So, like, okay. Um, the suggestion here, by the way, it's weird. I don't know. I can't really. When you're mirroring, it doesn't quite have the same behaviors as if I was to. Because if I tap it, it does that. Actually, well, you can actually see it there. So, you know, you can read it on like this column is English. This is transliteration. So what the Hebrew sounds like, and this is Hebrew. Hebrew's actually pretty easy to learn, even though their characters look daunting. And there's accents. You don't have to learn the accents really because they're made up. They were only added in the 11th century, and they don't represent biblical Hebrew. And you know, if you're gonna speak Hebrew, you might as well like hold to the original, not what people have turned it into. And or to some degree, I mean, all these characters are different than what they originally look like. But my point is, like, the accent marks don't actually exist really. So uh, you know, this basically says a woman of army or virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that make ashamed or delayed or disappointed is a rot in his bones. One of the things that I've been saying is I think some woman, like maybe this is what I was thinking with Stefanie Joosten, but maybe is it Alessandra Ambrosio, and if they someone made a contest out of this, um, but it can be used to rot someone in their bones. This is also at the end of the video where I'm saying this is all conjecture, so I can't prove this out, but the Bible says it, and it does seem to be like something's hurting me in my leg, and it feels like something's rotted me in my bone, and it hurts a lot. I cannot put into words how much this hurts, but like imagine this is what it feels like. First of all, there's a video on my YouTube of me getting hit by a car. You can very clearly see that I've like pull glass out of my forehead. I'm laughing as I pull glass out of my forehead. I land like a fucking like Spider-Man. Like even with my backpack on and all my stuff in it, like you know, I think I handled it well. I skate home. I'm bleeding everywhere. At a certain point, I like the woman's car is messed up. You don't see me cry. You don't see me like I'm not. Uh, it it hurt, not that much. This hurts. This hurts a lot. I cannot. I could sit here screaming about how much it hurts. It feels like, you know, a venom. This is, you know, the whole venom snake thing with Stefanie Joosten, I think is meant to like mock this about me. Like I've been snake bit and they're just mocking the situation, but it feels like something cut my leg open from the bottom of my heel on the right side, on the extremity on the right side, and you can even see in my toes. I'll even do this. You can even see in my toes something is janky with my right side. And I'm telling you, something is doing this to me, and I'm trying to fix it. And I've been doing a lot of stuff. Okay, jeez. Do you see my toes, man? I mean, like, actually, this foot looks normal. All my toes. I mean, whether you think they're colored properly or not, whatever. That doesn't matter. But this, where it's like, you see how my right pinky is like dragging? I can't. It's like disconnected, and I think it's some kind of thing that you can do to people. Again, if you have enough knowledge of humans, and like, I think it's something you can do to someone, and I think someone did it to me. And I think it's done using like some form of sexual strike that is being compounded and empowered by a bunch of people lying about the situation, and I'm just unable to address it. And like some of it has to be, I almost like I have to put myself in an absurdly uncomfortable position to even like to even show that something is going on like I just did. And clearly there's a difference between my right and left toes. I mean, and I also want to point out, this is like also more conjecture, but like if we go to SoundCloud, this is one of the things. I think the whole point that I'm making, where so part of the thing where I'm making a point that like my mom, it should be my support system. I should be able to she should when there's something like with the Stefanie Joosten thing where my cousin Josh is actively saying, yeah, they're hurting him, and she's like too old to take action for me. Actually, she doesn't understand. I can't just get off the computer, dude. I like actually, mom, like the idea of me who's made all the money that I've ever made, pretty much, I've made using stuff online. Like what I want to do is to have the ability to make money online if I'm gonna live a life like a normal life, right? And be a normal person, right? Well, I want to be able to make money normally like people do online. I can't do that if something's cutting me off online, and I'd need her to speak out for me. And kind of what I'm getting at is I think something by cutting me off from my mom is like, or like getting her to not take action for me is like cutting me off from my left pinky. And it's hurting me a lot. It's hurting me a lot to the point, like, let me describe what this feels like. It feels like down where I showed with my pinky. If you go to the middle of my foot or like right around my heel and you take a knife and you stick it in and you just drag it all the way up my side, all the way up to the crown of my head, and then take icy hot or tiger balm and rub it in the wound, and then have a UFC fighter come and kick me as hard as they can in the thigh. That's what it feels like. If you think I'm exaggerating, I don't know what to tell you. You can see my pain tolerance in the video of me getting hit by the car. I seem to have a good pain tolerance. Like I can't put into words. I can't articulate how much this hurts well. An 11 out of 10. And it's not just that it hurts. It hurts a lot. Maybe it's a 10 out of 10 that it hurts, but the fact that it's like I can't fix it, no matter how much, no matter how many Bulgarian split squats that I do, no matter how many whatever's blah 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 blah, blah, like it's getting better, and it's also gotten better as I've focused more specifically on. I think these specific people are being used to bother me, and if I can prove it out, maybe I can end this. Um, so that's what I've been doing. And I'm trying to fix it, and I'm trying to live a normal ass life and be a good little boy. You know what I mean? Like even when I was a bad boy, I was just like making videos on YouTube. But people didn't like that I was screaming as much as I was. Okay. All right, well, let me try this not being so screamy and trying to articulate it as well as I possibly can. Remember, at the beginning of my videos in 2018 with Stefanie Joosten, that's what I was doing. But now I have enough evidence to show something was going on. And enough people have said, multiple people saying, and I've shown at least two of them, it's happening and it's wrong. So I'll ask this for my friends here in Houston. Joel Macaluso, are you my friend? Or did you do something wrong? Are you inept or evil? Emilio Longoria, my oldest friend. I'm pointing this way because his wedding brochure is on is on the is on the that thing right there. That's his wedding brochure, which I went to. I've been to one wedding as an adult. That's his, or as a little boy. I'm kidding because people want to make me demean me and make me feel like less of a man. Okay, I just don't care. That doesn't mean I'm a man or not. But Emilio, I need you to speak out about this. Or how about this? The Stefanie Joosten thing. It is happening. Enough people are saying it's happening. If there's a situation that's preventing you from speaking about it, you know, I wink twice. Like what do I do? How do I get I don't think anything is preventing people from speaking. I think people are preventing themselves from speaking. So that's what I'm trying to deal with. Can you please speak out for me and help me? Not like Matt needs help. Let's call the mental help people on him and like force him into a mental situation. No, what is going on with Stefanie Joosten is wrong. It is not okay. I'm going to keep saying this. It is not okay to hold me at a double standard to an account, like hold me to account in a way that you're not holding someone who's actively doing this. I wouldn't like this prior to this starting. This all started with Stefanie Joosten acting against me very publicly in a way that is really distressing me and has really hurt my mental health and has, just hurt me physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, monetarily, socially, sexually, like every facet of my reality. I mean, go watch the YoTV videos. I made them public so that people can see. First of all, there are things that I say in it which are just the reality. What I was saying about AI, well, that's true now. I mean, actually. So maybe I'm just way ahead of people. But, you know, like a lot of this stuff is like, I think has happened. But there are things that I say that, like, in the same way, I'm like, well, a lot of this is conjecture, but damn if it's not like there is something going on and something's messing with me. And I'm begging. Am I begging? Well, I'm asking, and I'm continually asking, and no one's providing. So if it looks like begging, well, is it? But I'm asking very kindly and reasonably, please, in the least, like, can the news do like, can Channel 11 be like, uh, or can someone, Channel 11, Channel 13, Channel 2, can you all get together and do like a news consortium, like press conference thing? Like, hey, this person in Houston's been wronged to such a freaking insane degree, and like people lied on him, and it's really destroying his life, and like they're trying to make a public example so people can look outside of the city what's going on in here, and I think they are, and it looks bad on Houston that I've been treated like this. Why? Because I'm speaking truth to power or whatever it is to a bunch of celebrities that are being assholes, and I'm not getting backed up. But not even just celebrities, like micro niche celebrities. Like that's what Stefanie Joosten is to some degree. I don't have 100,000 followers, do I? Or am I being prevented from seeing? Because when people with hundreds of thousands of followers are liking my stories on Instagram, and there should be no way that they've seen my story, and there's I have the pictures of them doing that, and it also looks like I can see it said nobody looked at my story, but I can see hearts coming out of it because someone liked it and it glitched, and I think, and it's like it's supposed to not show me, but it showing the symptoms, you know what I mean? Like where when you're looking at a story that is yours and someone has liked it, hearts come out. Okay. If nobody's seen the story, how can hearts be coming out? That's what I'm saying. And like how would those same stories, how after some time, how are people with hundreds of thousands of like musicians, how are musicians and DJs and stuff with hundreds of thousands of followers liking my stuff? Unless maybe I'm the most underground whatever artist, and like, okay, Parker Clark, why would you not speak out for me here in Houston? I can tell like all these people to some degree know who I am. I mean, we're following each other on Instagram, or in the least I'm following him, and we've met in person. And I've sent him the videos of when I go to 9 p.m. and I see people making videos like that of when I say our culture, the culture, dance culture, and I don't see people making music and mixes like I'm making, not even the artists themselves. How about this Ace Aura in Dallas at UT Dallas as I'm like, doing this, right? UT Dallas, Dallas, Ace Aura, Eric Seal. You're a Christian? Really? Are you actually a Christian? Use your words to speak out for this. For me. If I seem frustrated, I mean, I am. And, like, it's not like, with him, you can go back on my thing from 2019. I was, like, sharing Ace Aura stuff. So, I want some answers here that would be reasonable. Have people wronged me and nobody wants to speak up because they participated? That's going to be a real big problem because I'm not stopping and this is going to come out. So, are you a Christian? Well, then maybe you didn't wrong me. Are you lying about being a Christian? All right, then if you're a Christian, you need to speak up, right? It's like do unto others, but if you flip that, it's like, well, what would Jesus do? But what would, like, if I'm a Christian and I'm asking another Christian man to speak out, Eric Seal, Ace Aura, is this the wild card? I'm the Joker. He's the ace. All right, you need to speak out. If the Joker is saying be serious about this, you need to speak out. I'm sorry, the Joker's trademark. If the Joker is saying this, I don't want to get copyright struck. And I use humor here and in a lot of places because this is the most stressful situation I've ever been in, and humor de-stresses me. If that bothers you, in the situation, probably my humor won't be so dark and whatever. But currently, it's pretty dark. Currently, it definitely bothers me that this is going on, and the humor is pretty much all that, not all that keeps me going, but I think Yahweh has a sense of humor, and I try to do that as well. So, the spirit of Yahweh, because Yahweh is a spirit. Though the seven churches things, it says I'm gonna write my name on you. I'm gonna write the name of my father on you. I'm gonna write like the name of the city of the future. I'm gonna, like, I grant you to sit with me on my throne. You get that? All right. And that's about Jesus seemingly to me. That's what I get. But everybody seems to say something different. Well, I've made it make sense. Nobody else has made it make sense. So it seems to be what Jesus leaving out there, like a contest for anybody, like the sword and the stone. And I just believed that it was a sword and the stone and pulled it out. If you don't believe me, like, explain the situation better. If this is like if this is where the people are going to say I have mental health issues, there has to be some point where I'm allowed, like, I have a Bible, and in America I have freedom of religion. I should be allowed to have these beliefs, and it's not just I have the beliefs. I can textually back them up in the languages that they're actually written in, so that it's not a translator thing. And so, I think what I'm saying is accurate. I think I pulled the sword out of the stone. Yo. And probably the iron rod thing is whatever this Jezebel character is that's, like, messing with me. That, my suggestion is, here's another thing that I'm saying, like, I can't prove this part out, but I think some of this is that like, there's, like, with some of these with some of this stuff is going on, it seems like probably child porn behind the scenes, and that's one of the reasons why they would use these kind of, like, weird mental tricks to keep this kind of stuff going. Oh, Matt, blah, 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 blah. Well, isn't that what's going on with P. Diddy? He's, like, a huge person in the music industry. I don't put it past Jay-Z and Beyonce to be doing some evil shit like that, too. Are you? Are you not? Are people protecting her here even though she is? I mean, what's going on? If I'm the dude from the Seven Churches things and you're protecting Beyonce over me, it's a problem. But in any instance, well, why wouldn't Beyonce speak out for me? Even then, I can prove out in my, I've met Jay Electronica and, had conversations with him. I tried to get him to, I don't know, engage with me, and, like, one of the things I'd been suggesting is that you mix hip hop, uh, and like country music and dubstep and stuff like that, and you do these interesting things. And by the way, Jay Electronica, who's famous for, he's a Rock Nation guy. Who's is he famous? I don't know. He never really made it, but Act One, Act Two. He never got to Act Three that I can see, unless something's being prevented from me seeing it. But now Beyonce is doing Act One, Act Two, and she's at Act Two. Okay, well, sorry, the mirroring thing went down. So, hey, look, it's almost like this art is like, it's almost like the art that I've been putting out is being used by them, and they're again taunting me. Act One, right? Act One, yeah. Act Two, right? And my whole point is like, okay, when it seemed to be like Jay Electronica was like trying to make points to me, that's one thing. But when it's like, is Beyonce now doing it? I mean, it seems like the art that is going on around me is like, hey, look, it's a silent assassin who doesn't want to speak up about, is trying to assassinate John Wick. Hmm. And now it's like, what does Nas say? It's like mental assassins, right? Didn't he say that in Illmatic? Illmatic, right? Yeah, he does. And so what I'm getting at is like, well, I mean, as an artist, if people want to like be able to steal your art and like mess with you or whatever, they would be like assassins. Like they can't kill you, but they can destroy your life and really mess with you and stuff like that, right? So anyway, this is still more of that conjecture. I can't prove this part out, but I do want to put it on a video that's kind of related to stuff that I have proved out, like the Stefanie Joosten stuff, in order to, there is something going on and I need help. And, maybe I need the Houston community. And it might end up being that, like, hey, Beyonce is not what she has been claiming to be. Say, this took a strange turn. I wasn't planning to go here with this, but maybe it turns out a lot of the artists that are like famous artists are not what they claim to be. They got ghostwriters, they're like whatever. And whoever's using them to make money, doesn't want to lose that cash cow. And other artists that threaten that are people that are expendable. And if I'm an other artist that can do that or whatever, and I'm expendable, well, it looks like people are trying to expend me. So, and not like pew pew, but like, oh hey, this girl like Stefanie Joosten, she's like looks like a chaste, not what, oh, completely different. She's not that. She's probably casting couched, and like they're using her specifically to make points around sexuality that would be uncomfortable and hurtful for you. And it's meant to distress you and put your mental health into into a place that it wasn't before, and it's meant to be dark and whatever. And you know, that's just what the reality of this place is until it can be cleaned up and we can actually go to a place where it's a party and not a bunch of like rich people trying to steal away reality and steal all the resources so they can build bigger houses and be assholes in those bigger houses. I think that is the most on point statement I've made in this whole video. So that is just okay. I'm not saying like a like a house like this. I mean a mansion. So I guess this is a pretty nice house. I'm thankful to live in it with my parents and take care of them, but I need someone to take care of me and not in like a pew pew way, but kind of like a take care of me. Like, hey, you are a person. You like you don't deserve disrespect. I don't know if people deserve respect without warranting it, but you don't deserve disrespect. You don't deserve people lying about you and slandering you and hurting you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, sexually, socially, monetarily. I kind of want some money from the things that have been stolen from me, but maybe just like getting some more eyes on the situation to show like, hey, the Bitrail case was a like very publicly $170 million crypto case, and there's not that many claimants, right? So the fact that I'm one of them, and my whole point has been like, I think that this was an action taken specifically against me, but I can't prove that. But the fact that then like there's this rug pull around opacity and Jason Coppola and whatever's going on with that, and it seems like people are watching, and that like that rug pull specifically was to hurt me. Okay, now we're making like head waves, right? Now we're moving closer. So like opacity coin, OPCT, right? Something weird happened with that, but that's again more conjecture. So I'm going to end this with this. This is what this is. This is what this is about, and this is why I'm doing this. So let's look at this real fast. You got this whole thing. This is my most recent stuff in the story and pictures, and the left column. I guess this is my right, but the left column where you see the mix thing is the mix, and then the next one is where in my list of mixes, like what date, and then uh, those were made. Yoker mix was 2,520 days ago, so 7 years. The Joosten mix, but I don't know. I think they're just trying to do like mean name puns, so I'm just like, okay. Um, and part of it is they called me Jew in high school at the Lutheran High North, and so I felt like it was people like bringing that back to just be like, so they did this with this woman, and then they're calling me Jew and Joosten, and I don't know. Ask Austin Jones. Did they call me Jukins? Did you call me Jukins? I mean, you might have been more loving about it, but other people were pretty shitty about it. So, and we're supposed to be Christian. Wasn't Jesus King of the Jews? And it's in Hebrew, like, okay, let me make sense of something real fast. In Arabic, they're called the Yahud or Yahudim. That's because they follow the god Yahweh, right? Benjamin Netanyahu has Yahu at the end of his name because Yah, it's actually more like Yao, but you get it? I mean, like, it's the name Yah. So they're called Jews because it becomes Anglicized into English, and it adds a J, like the J sound instead of a Y and whatever. But they're Yahs, right? They're followers of the deity known as Yahweh, not Allah, right? Because Allah is a generic title that it's just a knockoff of Christianity. But okay, anyway. Um, so I'd also say these kind of points, that's just 100% valid what I said. So this should be something where it's like, oh, and that might also be because these people, when I'm talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z and stuff, they really love Nation of Islam and stuff. And at this point, to me, it seems like the Society of Magical Negroes. Like, actually, there is no Allah other than Yahweh, and Yahweh is not a feminine deity. Yahweh is Elohim, which seems to indicate probably both masculine and feminine, because God isn't a person. Yahweh's a spirit. God is a spirit. Yahweh is a spirit. Uh, so, though, I guess the Ancient of Days and the one like a Son of Man are like the physical manifestations of Yahweh. That's why Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the Trinity, is not mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned Yahweh, which is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The Father is named Yahweh, the Son is Jesus, and he changes his name in Revelation 3:12, 3:21, somewhere at the Sixth Church, Philadelphia, to his Father's name. The name of the Holy Spirit, it's the Holy Spirit of Yahweh. You can find that in Isaiah. I mean, it literally says the Holy Spirit of Yahweh. Ruach HaKadosh Yahweh. All right, anyway. So, okay. By the way, what I'm getting at here with these is this is just the next several, like, what I'm saying I believe are critical moments relating to like every mix there seems to be like crazy stuff. Like when we got to these points where this mix is 2520 days old, and then all of a sudden, something is going on now, maybe even related. So that's kind of why I'm like pointing out that's where these mixes, like these are the dates. So like we're coming up on a period where multiple of these mixes were made in a short time, and like I'll put it like this: I don't know when Olivia Munn got cancer, but we did like we're coming up to this point where that one is like that's going to be one of them too. And I really think like this is a cancerous situation because I'm claiming something is trying to like harass me and abuse me, and I can't quite pull it out into the light. And like Olivia Munn seems to like she literally got married and had a kid with a comedian. I think just to be, it's like a mean joke. So anyway, uh, and like here's where the total solar eclipse happens. This is from Milky Mix 6 in 2012. There hasn't been a total solar eclipse here that is like actually, this would make sense that it's about this time. So I've been trying to tell a story for a while, but like maybe people haven't believed it. And then here's the UTD stuff, and yeah. So I just need to have this engaged in some reasonable way and to not be messed with in all these ways, and to like I just need some help and not like, Matt, you're crazy. We're helping you, but you're crazy. It's like, I don't look. Like if my mom is saying these don't look like the same girl, and that's what I'm believing, based on what I can see with their nose. Like, look at that one's nose does not look like the other nose. I mean, I'd just like some engagement on this reasonably. And whatever it is, if this is something that is, lying about what their situation is, there's multiple people and it's meant to be like, if you hide behind something like this, you can do stuff in the darkness where it's like people don't understand exactly what's going on. Like you could be on one side of the world actually, you know what I mean? Like she could be a high class escort and her daughter. So Alessandra and Anja Ambrosio. This is conjecture. I cannot prove this out. This is like a hypothetical scenario. Why someone might do something like this. Well, you could have uh, this character that wealthy men are paying to sleep with, and maybe even their daughters, and make videos, sexual videos of some sort, and maybe her son as well, or sons or whatever, and then you're on one, like whoever's doing that is on one side of the planet, and like this other one's on the other side, and then there's one that is like, you know, or if there's two, so let's just say there's hypothetically two, it can look like a normal family or something, and then they're making a bunch of money off these, basically a body double being a high class escort. That's just like a conjecture based, like, well, why would they do this? That might be why. Can I prove it? No, and I can't prove that those are the same girl or woman, but they don't look like the same girl. They look similar. They look like if you had Alessandra Ambrosio and a Alessandra Ambrosio body double, and in fact, let me pull this part. I guess this part might be relevant too. So let's go back up here from this thing, like where you have Gal Gadot here. But let's look at this one's nose, right? Look at her nostrils. You see them? Look at that nose or nostrils. That doesn't look the same to me. That looks more jagged and whatever. I understand different cameras can pull out different things, but this looks like a different Alessandra Ambrosio. In fact, to me, this is what I was saying about Stefanie Joosten. This is why, maybe that was actually me trying to get over a point that this shit was going on a while ago. But um, right? Look at that nose. Especially compared to the first one, it is not as sharp and pointy. And the first one's like a Ferrari nose. This one's a little cutie nose, but it does not look like the same nose to me. Same nostrils. Okay? This is why I think some people are doing some evil stuff with people. And like, okay, I've shown it with both mother and daughter. Let me wait. Mother and daughter? Now it should be maybe a bit more apparent. Hey, maybe Matt's not wrong. Holy shit. So, and part of this thing, I think, is like with this one. I mean, I think it's meant something. Part of me, like, I didn't have this thought until like last night or whatever, but like this one looks kind of like me, to some degree, and that's off-putting and not off-putting, but like that's disturbing. And so I'm like, did something happen? Did they take my genetic material and like make another me and they're abusing her or something? I mean, that's now this is the conjecture part where I'm just like, I don't know. But hold on. It's the way the mirroring things works. I got to do this. So first of all, go through my videos. I'm wearing this hoodie all the time. It wouldn't be hard to figure out what kind of hoodie you need to wear to make some kind of point to me. And this is how part of this works. Like, this is how people are getting points across when like, whatever. So I'm, trying to make a point. It's like the exact, like, come on. Is that not the exact same color? But okay, so she's wearing the same hoodie. Whatever. I mean, that's just a micro thing. A lot of this is micro stuff, but it builds up over time. Like, but I don't know. I just get some weird thing like this is trying to make me feel like she's my daughter or something, and like I am kind of looking at this situation like she's someone's daughter, and I think the situation seems to be fucked up, and like nobody's engaging what it is. Maybe because, like what I guess until Diddy got